that has really been a uniter like none other. And to have individuals take an ownership in it is something that everyone can get behind. You're not asking for anything other than what you would like to say or how you feel at that moment. And to see that in case, to look back at that from a community perspective is just simply awesome.
Right, to be able to have just your little piece and say, I'm a part of something bigger than me is really powerful.
Yeah, and I think when we think of a wall, it's not only something that divides, but it's also something that protects us. And so that idea that united, we bring something positive, and so we feel that protection, that companionship of community that we all need.
So we started out as the Sister Circle. There's a group of 12 women, 12 diverse professional women. We came together to support each other. This was 8 years ago in our work. We're mainly therapists, psychologists. We knew how easy it is to get burned out in our field. So our idea was to come together, help each other, support each other. But as the years went on, we realized what we really also wanted to do is not only help ourselves, but help our community. Just like we were becoming who we were meant to be, encourage everyone in the community to do the same. So at that point, we changed our name from the Sister Circle to the Sisters Central City Circle of Change. Great name, but kind of a mouthful. So now we call ourselves just SC to the fourth.
About a year ago, we were talking about how do we take advantage of the stories that people have and talk about what's going on in the neighborhood. We're going to make big ceramic discs and put them here that talk about the different ministries. And then as the summer wore on and walls began to be mentioned in all kinds of places, and especially in the politics, she started thinking about that, and we started talking about that. And then after the massacre in Orlando in July, she created these wonderful, beautiful doves that had the name of each victim out of that nightclub. And we hung them in the commons of the church, and people could look at them and all that. And then she had this idea.
Last spring, as we heard talk about people building a wall, we sisters decided it was time to build a different kind of wall. And the strongest wall that there could be is a wall built of courage, of love, and of hope. A wall that we all come together to build together. There's nothing stronger than that. And we decided we needed to invite all the people of the community to come together and build a different kind of wall.
The reality of things going around us that are heavy and challenging and things that are hard to understand are real for adults and then especially for youth. So to be able to talk about problems is important, but what's really important is talking about solutions, what comes from the problems, and that's where people really remember their power.
We thought one of the best representations is using art, and so what we did is we started coming up with these small clay tiles, encouraging people to put their word of courage, their word of love or hope on these tiles. So basically asking the community to build this piece of art.
Even as adults, I think we need to create space where we can heal and get back to having those conversations so that we can go back and support young people who really have the most energized and clear voice that there is. And that's why young people are always at the head of movements, because they have that energy and they have that clarity, but that doesn't mean they don't need the support of our elders and us taking the time to create wisdom to say, no, we don't have to stay stuck, we don't have to be sad, we don't have to stay in ruts, we can actually come out of this, because that's what humans are, we're resilient, and we need to remember that. And you know, those are the kinds of things that have to be continuously spoken into life so that we can function from it.
I just think it's interesting that I try to not be politically engaged, you know? Because I feel like there's good qualities to both sides of our different, our different political parties. There's good points, so I try not to get involved in talking too much and being all for one thing. But it's difficult when a message is being sent of, turning against our fellow Americans because they're, Mexican descent. or they have religious values, which a lot of us are afraid of. It's hard to not be political. It's hard to not at least respond, because it's not about what I think about policy, it's more about what I think about my neighbors, you know? And you don't want to respond directly, but you're forced to respond directly that I refuse to participate in excluding or taking away the rights of my neighbors. So you end up kind of making a political statement then.
The first time that I heard of walls being put up would be keeping stuff inside, the barriers we put up ourselves, and to get to know one another, we usually have to bring down those walls to connect and really get to know each other.
Also, to talk about the wall as protecting, because a lot of times when people hear the term wall, they think of keeping something or someone out. But in our case, we are looking at the wall in the sense of keeping something in, and specifically love, courage, and hope, so that it has a protective factor, so that we're protecting those things, those values that are common between us, and that are precious to us.
And I think something that I like is this group is all diverse. We want to have the same thing with our community, bring that diversity to the walls of love, hope, and courage.
Yes. That it can look so many different ways. It doesn't have to just look one way.
And it's really subliminal, because even when we talk about like our own selves and we talk about like just life's experiences, and when we develop barriers or we build walls that protect ourselves after experiencing some kind of a trauma, right? So to even have that experience, especially at a young age, where you associate the word wall to love, associate the word wall to courage. And so now you're not building barriers, you're building community. And I think that's just really powerful to like change the paradigm of the way we think about walls.
I think words are messages. I think people get inspired by words, and it's something, racism or discrimination is something that we can't easily heal. But if we see something that inspires us, or we read something that inspires us, it does give us hope. It does give us strength to continue. So I do think it's a small solution to a big issue, and that it can really give people a sense of hope.
I just came by to like decorate some tiles and hopefully like build a stronger community. Well, the wall is all about building community and bringing people together, and that doesn't have anything to do, like community is about everyone, not just certain people that belong to one certain race, it's about everyone.
I think that the times that we're living in, it's even more important that we have something like this where we can all come together and appreciate our commonalities and our differences, and really inscribing something in the wall makes somebody a part of history. They're contributing to history. And so in really difficult times like this, it's great for people to be able to come together and make such a wonderful contribution to the community and to history.
So many people, when they come to you and you mention the wall, you know, there's a kind of a negative connotation, but then when you take time to explain to them and they listen to you and you say, you know, what we mean here is we are building love, hope, and courage, which is inclusive and is not leaving out anybody. And then when you explain about the tiles and you tell them that we are giving you the opportunity to express yourself, how you feel about it, and how they respond to the messages they have been hearing about the war that we are now talking about is not the same as that war that they have been hearing. So when they come to understand that, they really come out and you see from the bottom of their hearts what they are writing, and they feel so good to have the opportunity to express themselves.
And with that, you can really take pride in it then. You know, you want to go back to the place where you made a tile and show the people that, you know, this is the work that I created, this was the word that I came up with, the drawing I came up with that represented me.
Yeah.
And that's something that's timeless then. You know, that's not something that's a modern idea. It's going to be there and it's going to be understood.
Yeah.
And we as the Sister Circle invite you to join us as a community
And building living walls of love, courage, and hope.